area managers, if you have any field specialists that aren't able to be on the call today, or who jump on late or whatever, they can catch this. I'll upload it to YouTube and everyone can watch it later. But I did want to just give you guys a few updates, especially since I will be leaving on vacation as of Friday night. As of tomorrow night, I'll be going out of the country, so I won't have any access at all. So I wanted to make sure you guys were all taken care of before I left, as well as just address a few things that have popped up that I've seen. I have been covering for 2 area managers for the last couple of weeks. Just recently Jackie this week, and Judy was out the last 2 weeks, which has really opened my eyes to a lot of the work that's being done and a lot of the busy work. I think there's a lot of little things that are piling up that really just need some attention, and I'll work with the area managers on that. But I think number one, I've been able to roll out this weekly goals form with both the Southwest and the SoCal team, and now I'm going to roll it out to everybody. So if you're on Chloe's team, you haven't seen this form yet. It is something that we have been using in other markets, and it has helped me tremendously because I'm seeing what our field specialists are spending time on. I'm also seeing where we need to be creating more support tools for you. So I'm just going to go through the form really quick, and then later on today I will roll out a form for Chloe's team, which will look similar to this, except it'll have NorCal on it. And that way you can go ahead and have that. What each form will have is a drop-down menu with each field specialist name. And this form is to be completed every Saturday. So your work week starts on Saturday. It runs Saturday through Friday. And this should really be only like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes tops for you to complete. This is going to be in addition to your weekly report. But my goal is to really get an idea of what your needs are, what you guys are working on, what we need to be doing to better support you, as well as just give you guys the practice of really looking at what you have in the week ahead of you, and really plan for that. So on a typical Saturday, you can do this in the morning. You can do it before your day ends on Saturday, but it needs to be done at the start of your work week. So we'll take, this Saturday, for instance. And it's really just you looking forward to what you have. So number of events scheduled, and again, that's from Saturday to Friday. So say you have 40 events. And of those 40 events, maybe with the amount of scheduling you're doing and spot checking, you're not scheduled to work any, but you know that you're planning on spot checking 8 events. And you have that laid out for yourself. And then for next week, any deliverables that may be coming up. So it's the first week of the month, so maybe updating your inventory forms. You have your weekly report to do. You need to code credit cards. Whatever is a deliverable that you know you have to do that week. And this just gets you in that process of knowing, like, okay, these are the things I absolutely have to get in. But it also allows your area manager to say, you know what, I already have the inventory, don't worry about doing that. Or I was able to grab that when I checked on this, I don't need a full inventory report this week. So that way it allows us to also take things off your plate if we might not necessarily need them from you this week. And then just with the idea that August is incredibly busy, September is right around the corner, we have Labor Day. It takes a little bit of time to onboard people, get them trained, have them fully ready. How many staff are you looking to hire for this week? So if you know, okay, there's a few people I was looking at in the portal, I've been working with a recruiting team, I'd really like to get in at least 3 interviews this week. You could put, 3 phone interviews or Skype interviews. We really want to be trying to get some FaceTime. So 3 Skype interviews, focus on Hispanic recruiting for Tecate Light on-premise. And then any additional support we can offer. So say you have 4 ambassadors who are still following up on pay, and they haven't been paid yet. So you could say pay inquiry follow-up for, whatever brand ambassadors you're talking about. Maybe you need assistance with you have a ton of events that you have in a spreadsheet. You need to get those ambassadors into the portal. So maybe it's assistance with portal entry of ambassadors. Maybe it's you need some additional help, with recruiting. If it's, can I get some additional ad plays? Can we get some Facebook posts in there? So anything that you need from us that we could help with. If you need a new training deck, if you want your area manager to, send some follow-up emails to your team about photos, anything that we can do to support you, that's what we want to see. You click submit, and it goes directly to your area manager. And then that way, and I see it as well, so it allows me a chance to see, well, hey, hey, Jackie, both Tion and Eddie and Jade are all working on trainings this week. Let's just schedule one big training. So this is really, again, just a tool for us to support you. It's a tool for you to start really looking forward to what you have in the week ahead, and and again, really start to plan what we have and see where we can provide you more tools. And in doing this over the past couple of weeks, I've noticed a big one is just ambassador training. So constantly bringing on new people over and over again, and the amount of time that we're spending trying to get them trained. And we want that quality training. We don't want to just send them the new ambassador deck and tell them to read it and confirm, because you don't know if they're doing that. So exciting tool for you guys is this. So I have gone ahead and created a recorded new ambassador training deck. So I walked through the entire deck. It's me also making notations on each slide and really talking through it. And this is also a tool that you guys can use. Everybody has access to the GoToMeeting. And just like right now, I'm recording this. You can do this yourself. You do have to use the GoToMeeting audio, not our other conference line, in order to have the audio recorded. But you will see there is me going through all of the decks. So then I wanted to be able to have that for you, so we can provide you with a link. You could tell the ambassador, this is what you need to do. You need to view this deck, go through it in its entirety. And then after that, I have created a form. I'm not finished with this yet. I just started on this, but from there we will have them complete a training quiz. And each ambassador, this is the format that it will look like for each region. So we'll have one for Chloe's team, one for Jackie's team, one for Judy's team. The ambassador will enter their name, their field specialist, the areas that they're willing to work in, and then they'll have a series of questions that they have to answer correctly. We're asking if they pass with at least 80% success. What I'd like to add in there as well at the bottom is any additional questions they have, like after watching the video, after going through the deck, do they still have additional questions? So the one thing that does prevent is them being able to ask questions while we're going through the deck. So I'll also add a section in there where they can talk, ask any questions that they have afterwards. But then this will go straight to the area manager, and we can run this each week and see who's completed the training. So it's an additional step where we're taking at least the new ambassador training deck off your plate, and I can work with the area managers for creating this for every single program that we have. And it could just be a refresher. We still want to get in front of our ambassadors. We still want to make sure that we're spending that face-to-face time and spot checking them and getting out there with them when they're first working their shifts. But this is an additional resource for you as you're constantly bringing people on to have that ambassador training deck already recorded for you by myself with some additional talking points. And you guys can go ahead and go through it. I'll send a follow-up to our call after this with all of the information here. But that is a new tool for you guys to use to kind of take some of that new ambassador training off your plate. So I know you're all muted. I'm sure you're cheering. But this is a great tool that we can be using and take a little bit of, even if that's an hour or 2 hours per week at night that you're not having to do that, that could be an hour that you're now spot checking. So we want to continue to use these tools and continue to tell me, again, what you guys need. And that's where those goals help me to know what you guys are working on and know where we can support you better. So we have the weekly goals, the video training, the follow-up quiz, which will roll out. If you guys have any questions, so a lot of the questions I'm going to be including are ones that the area managers have provided. But if you have any questions that you'd like to see included in your quiz, so maybe it's something that you're noticing in your market, your ambassadors are always forgetting or not doing, maybe it's something very specific to the legalities in your state, please let me know. Please send those over to me, hopefully by end of day today. Again, I do leave tomorrow night, so I want to make sure I'm able to roll these out to you guys before I leave. But please feel free to send me any questions that you may have so that I can include those in your individual quizzes. For our additional form before we move on, is going to be your spot checking form. And again, I've been using this in the Southwest and in the SoCal market, and it's proven incredibly helpful. I've actually had this week 4 different instances of accounts saying we did not go to the event. So your additional spot check photos, in addition to the ambassadors' photos, have been tremendously helpful. I think being able to house all of our spot checking in one place, because by using this form, it's all a database. So it's not, can you go back through your phone? Can you find those spot check photos? Can you send it to your area manager? Can you do this? It's already here. It's done. You know, it's set. It's fantastic. So it's going to be the same type of form. It's a drop-down menu. So for each region, we'll have your name as a drop-down, the date of your spot check, and this can be completed on site. And that's really helpful as well, where you don't have to remember the notes later on, especially if you're doing a program that's new, that's very specific to your market, and you have to provide a lot of feedback. You can do it while you're on site. So you would just select the day of your spot check, the account name, so say it's Henry's, and the event time, say 7 p.m. to 8:30. Ambassadors are spot checking, and this is great again, so we can keep track of who's getting spot checked. Because on a week-to-week, with the amount of emails, with the amount of communication, with the amount of stuff that you have going on, it's hard to keep track of who's been spot checked and who hasn't been spot checked. So by having this, you know, oh, okay, I spot checked her 2 weeks ago. You know, who else haven't I spot checked in a while? So you can, you know, put your spot checking Natalie and Susie. And then we have 2 spot check photos needed. So again, I'm not sure if you guys realize this, but I have to provide insights every single week to the client on every program. And when they say insights and photos, they want specifically what's being activated. So if it's Heineken Light, they want to see the Post-it notes. They want to see the bartenders handing out the samples. If it's Brewlock, they want to see that Brewlock keg. They want to see the tokens being used. They want to see the app, either people downloading the app or interacting with the iPad. So there's a lot of photos I need on a week-to-week basis. So if we can require at least 1 spot check photo to see the activation, this allows you to get both ambassadors in the photo, and along with them doing the activation. So if it's with the iPad, with the Post-its, you can stage it really well. But that 1 photo makes a world of difference. And then again, you know, the client is asking us, how is the field specialist position going? Are they able to spend that time really coaching the team? So the second photo we're asking for is a photo of you with the ambassadors. And I've gotten some great ones. Bianca Wilson in LA, your photos are fantastic. I love, you know, seeing the photos of you like coaching the girls or working alongside of them. So this is where, you know, we're also providing, and this is our great field specialist here who's coaching our brand ambassadors. So the second photo will be you with the brand ambassadors. And then a quick little box of any insights. Were the brand ambassadors using talking points? Do they need further training? Was Susie late? Is she really timid and you need, you know, we're not sure if she's right for on-premise. Was POS present? Does the execution make sense? Does the bartenders not like having to give out samples? Like, anything that you can give us that helps us with communicating the program, that's what we're looking for from your perspective, not just from the brand ambassador's perspective. Then you click submit, and again, it's off to your area manager, and I see it as well, and we're able to take those notes and put them into our recap. So that's 2 new forms for you. The spot checking form is just as you spot check. The weekly goals is every Saturday. Again, I'll do a follow-up email with everything listed out for you. And then the new ambassador training decks for you. The one thing that I have noticed a lot lately as I'm approving surveys or I'm having to run data is we have a lot of events that should have been canceled with pay that haven't been. And I know I sent a follow-up email last Monday about this, but just so you understand, when we pull info for the client from the dashboard, we have KPIs that we're trying to meet. So we have, a minimum of 50 samples to be distributed, or a goal of how many consumers we want to engage, or how many units that we're selling. So when we have events that have zero, either 0 units sold or 0 samples, it impacts our averages tremendously. And I'm noticing this more when I go into event overviews. Actually, there's something wrong with the portal right now. When I go into event overviews, and if I see any info where I see 0 units sold, 0 samples, it throws off all of that data. So if an account did not want to execute, the ambassadors ended up leaving, going on to the next account, that ambassador should not complete a survey. Make sure that they don't complete a survey, that event is canceled with pay. If they do that anyways, it's not processed until we actually hit the approve button. So so let's take this account for instance. If this account should have been canceled with pay, but they filled out an approved survey, and they filled out the survey in the payroll, we could still cancel it with pay just by hitting the cancel button. So don't approve the survey. Like if you're reading through it, you see that it was canceled, go ahead and hit the payment required. So we make sure that we cancel the event with pay, put in the cancellation notes. John, manager, was not aware of the event, did not want us to execute, or there were only 5 people in the account. We ended up leaving and going to the next account. So make sure that that is canceled out. But we don't want to have those zeros. We're going to have to go in and have a lot of those events that were entered in with 0 numbers deleted out. And that includes any special events. So if your market allowed your team to execute a special event, a golf tournament, a brew fest, anything where we're not purchasing the samples and we're not selling any units, then you could still enter that in as an event, but cancel it with pay so those numbers don't impact us. And really, this is what the area managers should be doing. It's just what you need to be communicating to them when that occurs so that they're clear to not approve the survey. And then I know for some of you, if you have really low allocations, you may be approving surveys, so I just want to make sure you're clear on that. And you can follow up with your ambassadors as needed. I'm also seeing a lot of completed surveys without completed payroll. So let's take this for instance. We have an ambassador that completed the survey but didn't complete the payroll. So at this point, this ambassador, a month later, still has not been paid for her work. And when the amount of pay inquiries we're getting, and people not following up and doing their work, so she hasn't done her payroll on her end. Even if you're following up with them consistently, we could still complete the payroll for them by emailing Portal Help and asking for their login info. Then you can log in as that ambassador and complete the payroll for them. And then just follow up, like, look, I went ahead and did this for you, but no, in the future, now your pay is already delayed, and if you can't complete all of the necessary recaps, then I'm not going to be able to use you as a reporting brand ambassador. Because a lot of these are really old. I'm looking at these, they're going to be set as scheduled events, and we have surveys that haven't been approved. We have events from May that have no surveys. So at this point, I'm wondering what's going on here. Should these have been deleted? Should these have been canceled? We're not able to roll over any of these hours so long as these are sitting in our portal. So if you see these, work with your area managers, follow up with them, say, hey, this is still in my portal. What do we need to do about that? Or this person still hasn't filled out the recap. How do I handle this? Because guys, this is crazy. This is April. This is May, and we're almost in August. So, I want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and making sure everything's covered. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute and kind of open the floor to any questions. So if you are in a spot where you have a ton of background noise, or if your computer speakers are already on, please make sure you're undoing your computer speaker, or that if you don't have a question, you stay muted or you mute yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and open it up to any questions. Does anybody have any questions at all? Oh, actually, when that popped up.
Marissa, I have a question. This is Bianca M. Is there a way that we can check or go back to make sure that our spot checking forms and our Saturday forms actually go through?
What I could do is I can change it so that you enter your email address in, and then you'll get a confirmation email.
Okay.
So I'll add that to this week's one. I'll update your spot check forms. You don't need a new link or anything for you. But that way, once you complete it, you'll get a confirmation form that it's gone through.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
And then Bianca Wilson, I see your question. So here's a good question. I know this comes up a lot. If you have to cancel an account, so say you have 2 back-to-back accounts, and the ambassador arrives at the first account, the account doesn't want it, so they move on to the second account and just execute longer. So they execute the longer time at the second account. How do we do that? Do we still cancel that with pay? Do they complete a recap for, now that they've done maybe 2.5 hours at this account? What I would do in that situation, again, notify your area manager. But what we would do is change the account name for the first one in the portal. So again, we want to make sure we tell the ambassadors, don't fill out the survey for the wrong location. Wait until we change the name in there and then fill it out. And we want to do 2 separate recaps. And regardless if an account is booked back-to-back, especially in the on-premise, if it's booked back-to-back, we want to have 2 separate surveys, because maybe in that first hour and a half there were 100 people, but then the game that was on ended, and in the second hour and a half there was only 20 people. So we want to keep accurate reporting in there and have 2 separate bar spends as well. Because again, there's a bar spend tied to each allocation. If they only run one bar spend, that's fine. Just make sure you put in the notes this was for 2 back-to-back events. So if there's a $400 bar spend on one event, just say this is paired with the 1:30 to 3 o'clock event at the same account. So again, just reach out to your area manager when that happens, and I'll follow up with all my area managers to make sure that they're making the correction in the portal prior to the ambassador completing the survey. Does anybody have any other questions?
I do. This is Jade.
Hey, Jade.
I was going to ask you about the new hire that training, the YouTube video. So when you're sending the link to the brand ambassador and we're having them complete that, we're obviously still paying them for their time, right?
Yes, yeah. So
okay.
I think
and then,
so the video itself runs 1 hour and 3 minutes. And
okay.
then we'll send them the quiz, and so we'll say that the quiz could take maybe 15. So let's just do it at like 1.5 hours. So we'll just say we'll compensate you 1.5 hours training for watching the video and completing the quiz, but pending that they complete the quiz accurately. So they have to pass with at least 80%. So if they have to take it again, that's still on their own time. That's still included in that 1.5 hours.
Perfect.
I'll put that in.
Okay, and then you mentioned that the quiz would go to our area manager. So is she going to take care of doing the pay, or can we maybe see if they pass the quiz as well so we can put their pay in, or how would we go about that?
Yes, I'll have them share that with you. So I'll run that through with each area manager today.
Okay.
I have I need to touch base with everyone. I know for you, Jackie's out, but I'll leave detailed instructions for Jackie as well.
Okay, perfect. This is great because then we can just have people take it at any time as soon as we hire them on.
Yeah, and that's what I've seen is just the hard thing is trying to get everybody to work. Like maybe you're hiring 5 people, and a few are available in the day, and a few are available at night, and so it's really just trying to streamline the process. And again, we could start doing these for every ambassador deck. So even if it's just a refresher, like you did an in-person training, but we're going to upload this to YouTube as well, so that before your shift you can watch it again. You guys can do your own little tips too. Like if you want to do a quick video for your team and send it instead of a really long email, that's fantastic. So we're just trying to do the best tools that we can so that your ambassadors are able to take that information and really absorb it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hi, Marissa. So I just wanted to say thank you for putting those together. I think it'll be really beneficial for all field specialists as well as the area managers, not only for the new hire deck, but also just really looking forward to the week ahead on Saturdays and putting together that plan. I think it'll eliminate lots of backwards, like you said. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's a practice that I do every week, and I know all of us, like just the amount of emails that come in, the flyers that we put out on a day-to-day basis, and something happens and now we're dealing with that, we could easily get sidetracked on what we were supposed to do all week long. So I hope this is more of a tool for you to be able to say, okay, I've gotten a little sidetracked. It's now Thursday. What was I supposed to do that I haven't done yet this week? And really, focusing in again on how we can support you too. So knowing what you're working on where we can help too. Like, oh, I noticed half my team is doing training on Cafe Light. Maybe this is where I just step in and, make the video so everybody has that. So again, our biggest thing is to make sure that you guys are getting the tools that you need to support, for us to have that support and really save you time in the long run as well. All right, any other questions?
Hi, it's Jenna in Arizona.
Hey, Jenna.
So we will be able to see the quiz questions, correct, so that we can send you specific ones that we might want?
Yeah, I'll show you just what I have right now. I don't have much. So right now I'm doing like a check-in photo, a couple of true and falses, like, if an account manager says I can leave, that's okay. I don't need to check in with my field specialist, things like that. Anything that you definitely want to see in there, please send to me. Okay. I might have it already. I might not have it. If you want something very specific for your team because you have a unique market, I'll probably, like California is going to be very specific because of our legalities. So, I'll probably add much more legalities in there. So anything you'd like to see, just please send to me so that I can add it in.
Okay, yeah. There are just consistent errors that I see with my team on their surveys. So I would love to add in questions about completing their surveys so I'm not texting every VA afterwards. So that would be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Of course. Anyone else? All right, well, I hope this was helpful to you guys. Again, we want to continue to be providing the tools that you need, so keep your ideas coming, keep, letting us know what we can be doing better. And, again, you guys play the most important role because you're working hand in hand with the brand ambassadors, and they are the bread and butter of what we do. So I thank you guys for all the hard work. I know we have a very busy August coming up, so anything else that will be helpful, please tell us. I'll probably do another training, a video training just for recaps, because I know this one was without reporting, so we'll upload one for just recaps. And have a great weekend. I hope these tools help. If you need anything, your area managers are there. We'll be touching base with them before I leave. But have a great weekend, and looking forward to August. We're almost at T3, so it's pretty exciting.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.